All right, welcome back to another episode of the Ryan and Goodman podcast. I'm Jeff Goodman. He's Bob Ryan, and we finally we don't have games yet, Bob. Soon enough.
I hear the balls bouncing though somewhere.
That's
Jeff.
right.
I hear them, so that tells me something is afoot.
Yes. Everybody is in camp. Camp has started. Media days got underway Monday, and it was not.
Is that with a Y-S or a Z-E?
I think it's a combination of both after yesterday because, usually media days are uneventful. It's everybody talking about how they either lost 20 pounds, gained 20 pounds. It's going to give 110%.
Everybody's 0-0 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a bunch of nothing. Let's be honest. We show up, and this year, I think, Celtics, I know, only a certain amount of media members were allowed to show up in person. The rest had to do it over Zoom. I don't know if that was the case around the league, but we show up and it's a bunch of nothing. I mean, it's a bunch of BS, to be honest. Especially with like the Celtics team, obviously after last year. But this year there was a different tenor to the media days. Was there not?
Yes. Particularly
largely because of two individuals.
Yeah.
A couple others joined the fray here, but it was none other than your boy and mine, Kyrie,
if there was a quiz, if someone said on August 1st, there will be one player for sure, guaranteed to rock the boat. Yeah. If the league, if it were 99.999999999%, but that 101, who would it be? It would be unanimous. Everybody who knows it would be that guy.
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was not in person at media day. He did make an appearance. He blessed the media with his presence. And when asked if he was vaccinated or not, he said it's a personal decision. He didn't come forward and say he's not vaccinated, but everybody knows he's not vaccinated because he's not there in person. And the big thing with Kyrie and Andrew Wiggins, right, on the other coast, 3,000 miles away in San Francisco with the Golden State Warriors, is not just that they're unvaccinated and what it does for maybe other players who are playing them or teammates or whatnot at this point, and puts kind of the team in a little bit of a tough spot in terms of their availability and other people's availability from being around them, but more that there are state regulations in both New York and California, which prohibit people from going into certain indoor facilities, arenas, other places, if they are unvaccinated, Barclays being one of them. And I believe the same thing with Andrew Wiggins and Golden State. So,
yes.
Right. Unless they get vaccinated, they are not going to be allowed to play home games.
Yeah, well, they can fall back on the privacy thing all they want, and we will say fine. We don't make them do anything. You don't. But here are the regulations if you want to participate in this endeavor, and whether it's sports or an insurance company or a dry cleaners or a gas station, they have the right to say I believe that you can't be a part of this if you're not going to be vaccinated. You got to go find something else to do. That's all I say to them. Fine, be private. We'll respect your privacy, but you're not playing for the book. And the Nets say, well, you're not playing for us. And the NBA says you're not playing here. No, I mean, and that's all. And same with Wiggins. Okay, fine. But it's not. The thing is, your decision does affect others, and you must come to grips with that.
What do you think happens here? Do you think both Kyrie? I think Wiggins caves. I've been around Andrew Wiggins enough to know he's very impressionable, super quiet, doesn't really like doing media, never has. In fact, when I remember interviewing him when he was a freshman at Kansas, and Bob, we did a 15-minute interview, and Bill Self still kids me about it because I put it in the story of why I question Andrew Wiggins, whether he's going to be successful. He never looked at me. 15 minutes, he looked down at the floor the entire interview. I think he'll cave. Obviously, somebody's in his ear telling him what to do. I feel like I'm not 100% on that, but Kyrie, I'm not sure somebody's in his ear or it's just Kyrie.
Well, how predictable is this? And once again, I must couch my words, Scott. It is alleged. It is not substantially proven, at least not to my satisfaction, but it is alleged that he has been indulging in conspiracy theories online, or emails, or somehow, some way,
retweeting people who are putting out
if that is
blatantly
the case,
false information.
How predictable was that? Given his history with us, starting with the Earth is flat, and going on from there. And a guy who I don't want to. He is who he is. We all have our opinion of what he is. The one thing we can, let's just say the one thing we can agree on that can't be contradicted. He can go to the hoop. That's one thing.
When he's out there,
he can go to the hoop. And he made the single biggest clutch shot in the decade in the finals.
Yeah.
I'll give him those two. We put them over here.
Sure.
On the court.
Undisputable.
No problem.
Undisputable.
Now, however, to get to the point where you can display these talents, which is going to be the question this year, well, that's a whole other matter.
Well, it's that, Bob, and the fact that he's always injured too. When it counts, this guy has not been on the court, whether it was for the Celtics in the playoffs, whether it's last year for the Nets. And you see Kevin Durant, and he's saying all the right things, right? It's Kyrie's decision, this, that, blah, 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 blah. But you got to figure at some point if Kyrie is not on the court this year because of this. And I think eventually he will cave to it and get vaccinated. But if he doesn't, which anything is possible with Kyrie Irving, how frustrated does Kevin Durant get with, oh no, maybe I made the wrong decision here to team up with this knucklehead?
Yeah, really, I agree. That they look. We all know that when they're all out there together, and if they are reasonably healthy, they're a championship caliber team, the very least caliber team. They would be a co-favorite in the East, at least with the defending world champions, I think. And if they're all there, So yeah, I think Kevin Durant has a right to be frustrated, and Harden would have a right to be frustrated if the missing piece weren't there because of these reasons, this reason, as opposed to
probably Harden even more, because Kevin Durant at least has won NBA titles.
Yeah, that's
James Harden right now is saying, this is my opportunity. I got two dudes. We are the most talented team in the league. Nobody's going to dispute that when they're healthy and on the court. But if I'm James Harden, I'm pissed off right now.
Yeah, well, this is all going to be very, 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 very interesting.
Now Harden's been a distraction too. I feel like all three of them belong together. They all deserve one another. They're all walking distractions. So whatever the other does, they can't get overly frustrated, because they may not have done that, but they've done something. Whether
who I'd like to hear from?
Go ahead.
Mr. Joseph Tsai.
Or Steve Nash. I'd love to know the truth of Steve Nash.
All right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Very level-headed guy. I'd love to have a beer with him on this. Yeah, it'd be great.
Because I think Nash is like the closest thing to Steve Kerr, but he can't come out and say what he truly feels. There's no way. He's kind of a puppet, to be honest.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it sucks, because Steve Nash, you have so much respect for him as a person, as a player, and now he's just a figurehead over there.
Yeah, well, Players League, as they say in that sense. But this is fascinating. So it's I don't know when it's going to come to a head. We start.
There's other players. Listen, the Celtics are not fully vaccinated.
They're not fully vaxxed. Yeah,
they got a couple, from what I'm told. They got at least one, maybe two key players. So I don't know. The positive is, well, they can still play at home, but they won't be able to play when they go to New York.
I guess you have to say what you have to say, but I must say I feel disappointed in Brad Stevens' falling back on it's a privacy thing. Yeah. Come on, Brad. You know damn well it transcends. It's a privacy thing. All right, so I guess he feels he has to say that, but
They all do.
This is to place them all in this difficult position
Right.
where they have to be disingenuous with us. Give me a break. But you're too smart. You know damn right well the ramifications. You know damn right well it's not just a privacy thing.
Right.
And I
Right.
hate seeing him placed in that position to have to, they feel the need to come out and say something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you come down to it, a team like that, right? Boston, okay, you can hide a guy or two in the regular season, right? They're going to miss a couple games. You're basically, going to sit them against, the Nets, the Knicks, Golden State out that way. So they'll miss a few games here and there. So you can hide it in the regular season, but what if then you have a playoff series against the Nets or the Knicks and one of the Celtics players or whatever, whoever plays the Nets or the Knicks, that player is not going to be allowed to play. It's just going to be interesting to see if somebody gets to these guys and they eventually get the vaccine, if Kyrie's just waiting to see if the mandate is lifted in the next couple of weeks.
Well, of course, you're not going to help. Can not expect any help from the Players Association on this. Right. Now, by the way, as opposed to the referees who are in line, apparently they're going to be all fully vaxxed because of their association. I mean, their association wants them to be, and they will be if they're not. And we can't. The Players Association, they're going to fall back on so they're not going to be a help. This is a very open-ended scenario. Boy.
I mean, will it be closed-ended though by the time that the regular season starts? We've still got a few weeks. These guys we're at 90%.
The exhibition season isn't that far away, so that's the first juncture. We'll see. Okay,
nobody will care. Nobody will even notice if somebody's not playing in the preseason.
Yeah, right.
Nobody will care.
Maybe this year. Ordinarily, you'd say that, but maybe this year we'll be looking.
They'll notice. You're right. People will now. Well, they'll speculate. Is what they'll do.
We'll be. I know for a fact I will.
But the Knicks, we've been told that they're fully vaccinated, so you don't have to worry about them. We know Kyrie's not. We'll find out probably if any other Nets players aren't.
How about another big name that of great significance, Devin Booker?
Yeah, I don't know if he's not vaccinated or I don't know
was he being coy? All right, well his name's out there
he's not allowed. I think he's being he's not allowed around his teammates now or something.
That would be.
And Bradley Beal came out with a statement.
Oh, Bradley Beal, yeah. And he's talking about people. He's gone all existential on us. So.
I know. Now I'm worried about bringing Brad Beal to Boston next year.
Your man, your goal in life.
I know. That's all I cared about. Now I'm worried about him. Now I still want that trio together of Tatum, Beal, and Jaylen Brown. All right, so. Couple more big things, non-vax news on media day. The biggest one was obviously Ben Simmons, still not obviously in camp, not at media day.
Still insisting on a trade. And
you can't blame him. It's funny. Doc Rivers was asked the question of kind of why. Why is he not here? And Doc, as Doc always does, he's smart enough to preface it with, I don't know. I'm obviously not Ben Simmons. We haven't talked, but, part of it could be, playing here in Philly, and not wanting to be here anymore, maybe because of the fans and that type of deal and fresh start and all that. And I think it's simple, Bob. I think it's simple. Ben knows he needs a fresh start. Philly, Daryl Morey can say whatever the hell he wants. Well, we still feel optimistic. He's going to be here because look at Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay after. Cut the crap, Daryl. He's gone. He's gone. You just don't want to lose all your leverage, and you want to try to keep some trade value. But you couldn't get anything for him. Ben knew you were trying to trade him. It leaked out. Ben doesn't want to be there. You don't want him there. So at this point, just move him for what you can.
What did I say months ago to you which was I'm dying to find out what is his trade value.
Yeah.
Who else wants to play to take on this task of the most oddly constructed, supposedly excellent player in the history of this league. I have never, in my 50 plus years of covering it, I have never encountered a circumstance quite like this. This transcends the big guys who couldn't shoot free throws, i.e. Shaq.
Because this guy's a point guard.
This transcends that. We've gone through that. I've lived with that. This transcends George McGinnis not wanting to go to the basket at the end of his career because he didn't want to go to the line. I saw that. This is totally different. This is a defensive, tremendous defensive force, a legitimate all-star participant in that game based on what he does on the plus side.
Yep.
And then you get to the end of these important games and his liabilities come out it just technicolor, complete on the 34% free throw shooting and the refusal to even shoot the ball in the fourth quarters of pivotal games of the season. What is, and oh, by the way, you are supposedly a point guard. All right, whatever they want to call it. You got the ball in your hands. You're 6 foot now. Even all right, there's never been anything like this. So I wondered what his trade value was, and I still we still don't know. Clearly, of course, the Sixers want to place a premium value on him and get that. Well, in the end, when it finally happens, it will be for X cents on the dollar. It's going to be a lot less than 100. It's not going to be 100 cents on the dollar. All right, not much. So there's that. Now I want to talk about let's talk about just with Doc's week and Doc's. Okay, Doc is trying to clarify what he was said when he was asked a specific question after the final game, in which he was said, "Do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as point guard?" And Doc gave an answer, I don't know, more or less. We don't know. And that was taken as a resounding negative, a resounding no by people, right?
That's fair. That's honest.
All right. Doc's answer, we're free to take it or leave it. And you know how and I'm full disclosure, I'm a Docophile. Okay. Yep. So I'm a Doc guy. I consider him, if not a friend, a very solid acquaintance. And I really respect Doc. All right. Doc's answer I thought was excellent. Is that I didn't want to answer. You asked that question, basically saying, you asked me that question in the aftermath of the game we just lost, the season's over. I'm not thinking about it in those terms. I'm thinking about the fact that we lost. So that's, you wasn't, intent, all right. You buy it, I buy it.
I think
I buy it because I want to buy it.
I just feel like he was honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to close the door on it, but I just went through a series when I couldn't put the guy on the court at the end of a game, and he's our point guard. He's not our big guy. He's not Shaq, like you said. He's our point guard. We need to have the ball in his hands because he is an elite passer. He's the fastest 6'10" dude in the NBA, and I couldn't put him on the court because he can't shoot, doesn't want to shoot, can't make free throws. So I think he was just being honest at that point. And Doc, he doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'm sure he feels bad about it now because I'm sure he likes Ben Simmons as a person.
Yeah, and he's in an unusual circumstance. Whoever coaches the 76ers with Ben Simmons, whether it would be Doc, Steve Nash, or Imi Udoka, or you or me, this is an unusual circumstance.
Yep.
To deal with. And I said all along, this is the greatest offseason story to me, is what's going to happen to Ben Simmons. And now we've reached the point where we're in training camp and nothing yet has happened, except that he hasn't shown up for yesterday. And we'll see what happens after he doesn't show up today. And, now in both cases, in all these cases, there's a lot of money at stake.
Yeah.
He can be substantially fined, as can Kyrie. So we'll see, how much they can, withstand at the pocketbook too.
It was so interesting too to watch. Whenever we've seen Doc Rivers, he's sitting there next to Daryl Morey, and Morey's talking, and I'm trying to think of what Doc is thinking when Morey's talking, because Doc's he's been with Danny Ainge, he's been with the last few years with Lawrence Frank, basketball guys, right? Daryl Morey is a numbers guy. That's all he is. He's a numbers guy. And I'd love to know what's going through Doc's head as he's listening to this analytics guy talk about the team and where they're headed. And, Morey's talking about how most number one seeds aren't where the Sixers are. The Sixers are on the upswing. because they've got all these young guys on their team and everything like that. And he's not wrong. But again, I'm just, as he's saying it with Doc next to him, I'm just wondering, like, is Doc thinking, shut the hell up, you numbers dork?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that, but you're right. Doc's previous associations were basketball guys, but that's, but that's the, the odds are you're going to run into
a few of them
guy in this business, because that's in all businesses, whether it's baseball, it's investing everything. It's even, I guess it's even reached hockey.
It has. Yeah, no, I think it absolutely has.
So that would be the last, fluid game, the holdout, you'd think. But anyway, interesting thing I stumbled upon this morning, Jeff, is things going on in Dallas, and where Mr. Jason Kidd has pronounced that Luka Doncic needs to, trust his teammates more, and specifically a certain elongated Estonian, whatever, and namely Mr. Porzingis, and something I was unaware of. There was friction apparently between the outgoing coach Rick Carlisle and Porzingis. Now I count me among the many who have jokingly kidded about Porzingis being 7'3", going on 5'3", in that he doesn't seem he has like a phobia about going near the basket. And all he does is stand out there and shoot threes at 7'3", which is really cute, but can't you give us a little more? And the allegation that I pick up that this was a mandate from Rick Carlisle, that he didn't want him posting.
That's interesting.
Or shooting, the morification of basketball. Speaking of which, the worst shot in basketball is the long two. Well, in this case, people have now taken it to any two other than a layup, right? I mean, so I want to see how this all shakes out, because, he is a talented young man. He's still Porzingis. And obviously not getting the maximum benefit, had not gotten the maximum benefit from it.
Yeah, I just don't know how this team's going to be any better. What did they add?
Yeah.
I mean, Moses Brown going to get him better, Bob?
I don't think so.
They didn't add a whole hell of a lot here. Yeah. So, again, you change your coach, which it was probably time, because you and I both know there's usually an expiration date on Rick Carlisle at a certain place. And, Rick was on the pod and he said he's mellowed a little bit, but Rick's still Rick. He's not going to change.
No, he's not going to do a complete metamorphosis. No.
So you can talk about it all you want about Luka trusting his teammates, but if his teammates aren't making shots, you're not going to trust your teammates.
Well, I'm just saying, so
the team isn't good enough. The team around Luka is not good enough. And that's kind of what I said in the playoffs. Like, Dallas goes out a little bit earlier. Well, Trae Young in Atlanta goes further. Why? Well, Trae Young's got way more weapons around him. He's got a much better supporting cast than Dallas has put together. So that's why I think they have a chance. All right, a couple more quick things to get to. Michael Porter Jr., Bob.
Yo, one of your boys.
He got paid. I mean, listen, I love, we've been doing this for a couple of years, and I have been touting Michael Porter Jr. from the first day I saw him, which was probably his sophomore year of high school. I think he fits today's game as well as anybody. I'm a huge Michael Porter Jr. talent fan. Again, he's another anti-vaxxer, but we won't go into that at all. I'm just shocked that Denver guaranteed him $170+ million over the next 5 years for a guy that, by the way, has played 116 career games, 119 games since 2017. Think of, including college, Bob. He's played 119 games in the last 4 years.
Well, I took a close look at the numbers, he can shoot the damn basketball.
He's terrific.
He shot 46 on threes, and he shot 60 on twos, and last year, while averaging 19 points a game to go along with his 7 boards. That's a big leap of faith on their part. But I mean, I knew the first person I thought of when I saw this was you, as the de facto president of the Michael Porter Jr. fan club, and So yeah, it's an interesting investment, and of course, a lot of it of the payoff will be incentives, which brings me to a very definite sore spot for me, which is the fact that so many of these incentives are tied to votes on the writers naming you to
The dumbest thing ever, Bob.
and
Right?
it's to the point, it does, we shouldn't have that. We shouldn't have that kind of pressure, if you will, or
And
power.
when are we going to get to the point where a player is going to bribe a media member to put him on the all? Seriously, it's going to happen.
Oh my God, for the amount of money that's at
Right.
stake.
Right.
No, it's like, Jason Tatum, lost out because he didn't
lot of money.
make third team.
Right.
And he's not happy about that. And is he going to go around and take numbers? Is he going to go on there and say, who'd you vote for? I mean, it's not healthy. Now I understand we vote. This all started with baseball years ago with incentives for the SI or for, but it's not good.
Yeah, these all NBA teams. Listen, the only thing I'm worried about with Porter, what I think of his talent. I think he's sensational. I just worry about, again, giving that much money to a guy who has a proven track record of being hurt a lot, Bob. Now Denver, you're Denver. You're a small market team. You better lock him up now and just, listen, it's the same thing with like Joel Embiid. We didn't know, right, Joel? They gave him a lot of money, and I probably said the same thing. Like, now Porter's not Joel, but the injury questions were there. They threw him the money, and so far, knock on wood, it's been okay for Philly.
Yeah.
So I hope it works with Denver. And I think being a small market team, Tim Connolly, it felt like he had no choice.
All right. Sometimes it works out. I mean, I'll go way back now. People forget this, but in the first couple of years of Patrick Ewing's career, he missed a lot of games.
Yeah.
And there was questions back then about, is he going to have a long career or not? Well, he got through it, and he wound up having a Hall of Fame career. But really, that was people don't remember that, but that was the case. Which brings us to another injury.
Yes, a big one.
This is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I am not remotely surprised that Zion Williamson has had yet another lower limb issue, right?
Yeah, broken fifth metatarsal in his right foot. And again, listen, I've seen this act. I've seen it multiple times now. Okay, I've seen it at Duke. I even saw it in high school. Okay, he broke his finger at the McDonald's game. He was out a while at Duke, hurt his foot, was out a while. Maybe not that long, but then he gets to New Orleans and he's out much longer than anybody thought. And now again, we're at a point where, and for Zion, we've always said it's carrying all that weight around, right? It's the way he plays on that body, the pounding that his legs take. And they're making it seem like it's no big deal. Like he could be available for the start of the regular season.
Yeah.
I don't see any way he's available for the start of the regular season.
I just, to me, this is warning buzzers flashing all over the place. It's such a damn shame. He's such a phenomenal, unique force. And
he's the best kid you'll ever meet. Like I hope you get a chance to meet him at some point.
Okay.
Bob. He is plus. Like he is such a great kid. And I hope that never gets lost of all the other stuff, because we'll question whether he fits today's NBA game, doesn't shoot it well enough. What is he? Is he a 5? Is he a 4? Can he be a 3? The injuries, but man, this kid is a special kid, and you just root for him to be healthy and be a really, really good player for a long time.
I love having him in the mix as the one exception to the rule about how they want to play this game. He can get away with what he does because of his unique physical ability. I mean, there's this package at 285 with this speed and explosiveness, and he can impose his will in the little radius of 6 to 8 feet around the basket, even in today's game, and nobody's stopping him from doing it. And he's the exception. Okay, there's nobody else right now that can fill that bill, but it comes with a body that is problematical. And question is, can the lower limbs support that massive torso, the whole body. Yao Ming's career, that was his issue, and he wasn't, at his size, and so we'll see. I hope so. I mean, I wish him the best, and I want to see him, but I'm worried. I'll be honest. Yes, the answer is yeah, I am. I'm worried about it.
We'll wrap with JJ Redick, a career over. One of the better 3-point shooters, an elite college player coming out of Duke, maybe the most hated player in college that I've seen since Christian Laettner. I would say it's Laettner and Redick. And when I was covering college, Redick was number one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anybody. Grayson Allen was hated too. I mean, it's all the Duke white players. It is.
Well, great. Of the three of them, nobody earned it more than Grayson Allen, in my opinion.
Very true. Very true.
But I mean, I'm sorry, but anyway, it's a career. It's a worthy career. It's not a Hall of Fame career. He got 15 years out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
He ought to be able to eat, take care of all the little Redicks for generations to come. He should be fine. He's a bright guy. He's gonna be. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know him at all. I'm thinking
ESPN should hire him tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
I would think that if he chooses a career outside of basketball, he would be, he's
absolutely.
Did he write poetry when he was still in college? When he was doing, I think seriously, I think so. I bet if you Google that, you might find that out. But no, it's a worthy career. I think of him, two guys I think of, they came out the college with the same game and they managed to parlay it into the same level careers. Kyle Korver.
Yes. And they're similar. How about this? So, well, in their numbers, 3-point field goal percentage in NBA history, Korver's 10th, Redick's 17th. Korver's 4th in 3-point makes in his career. Redick is 15th. Obviously,
okay. So,
we know the best shooter that has ever graced the NBA. I think we agree on that is Steph Curry.
Yes, that's my. I don't see anybody can get away from that.
I don't need
based on the idea that he can get that shot off anytime he wants from
right, and especially degree of difficulty.
It's a difference between he and Ray Allen.
Right.
Ray was a catch and shoot guy,
yes,
strictly.
Yes.
Total catch and shoot.
Yep.
He wasn't creating space, right? This guy, what Curry does from where he does it is sick. It's
amazing. Would Larry be number 2 for you in all-time great shooters or top 5?
Larry, no.
10?
He didn't. There was times he needed a little help. I mean, Larry did. That's why that was the source of my little thing about why Pierce is the most creative and the greatest offensive player in the history of the Celtics, because he always got a shot. He always got the shot he wanted, and then Larry didn't always. I mean, there were guys that Cooper was a problem for Larry at times, and there were Rodman thought he wasn't, but anyway, and not to the degree Curry's different level of that in that nature of that.
By the way, somebody actually, I'm going to find it right now. Put out a tweet last night, and I want you to weigh in on this. Because it involves this guy behind me.
Oh.
And the tweet was about the best team not to win a title.
No.
And hold on.
I have a nomination.
Go ahead.
Oklahoma in 1988.
No. So the tweet was actually about an NBA team. It was the Sixers team with Tony, with Moses Malone, with Mo Cheeks, that team.
Well, they did.
They did, but they didn't win in.
They won in 83.
In 85. I think they were talking about 85. That team.
The Celtics beat them.
Correct.
In 85. Larry stole the ball from Tony to seal the game. How's that?
So
on the bench.
So what's the best NBA?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but one that jumps to mind because I was there, and I'm among the many that scream robbery. The '88 Pistons were and games. The bogus foul call to put Kareem on the line to win that game. Again, that hurt. They were worthy team. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to.
Think about that team. Think about that Sixers team. I'm looking at it now. Okay. Moses averaged 25 a game. Irving averaged 20 a game. Tony averaged 18 a game. Barkley at 14. Mo Cheeks at 13. Think of that starting lineup.
Oh, I know. That's a tremendous starting lineup. And they lost this. And was someone hurt? I have to remember, because I didn't cover that series. I was covering the West. That's when I had come back to the Globe in the year before, and Dan Shaughnessy was covering the Celtics, and I covered the Western Finals that year. And so I wasn't there. I watched that Larry steal that ball from C.J. Bretts in Huntington Beach, California.
Who? From who?
What? Bird stole it from Tony.
Oh, I thought you said somebody else's name.
No, he stole it from Tony.
Yeah.
Larry wasn't noted for stripping people.
No. They were all, I'm looking at the final game of that series, the 5-game series, and they all played. Moses.
Okay.
Keith,
Well, that's rich.
Barkley,
Charles
yeah.
is a rookie then, right? Is that a rookie year? 84, 85? Yes.
Yes.
It's a rookie.
I mean, that team.
Yeah. Well, you got how many? 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're all in the Hall of Fame. Except for Tony. 4/5. 4 of them in Hall of Fame.
And on the other side, you think of that, like that series and how many unbelievable players were in that series.
We got the front line. We got DJ.
Yeah.
There's 4 Hall of Famers.
Yep.
We got Scott Wedman.
Maxwell coming off the bench.
We got Max still around. Now that's your Max got hurt.
Yep.
And all the, Max was so they didn't get the benefit of him. He wasn't
nobody has guessed. Out of all the Zooms I've done, probably 300. I did a couple the other day. Tony Bennett, Virginia head coach, Ben Howland. I mean, I ask, or everybody asks me. Everybody's like, whose jersey is that? and I have to give everybody a hint. Danny Ainge didn't get it. I mean, Danny Ainge played against him how many times? Andrew Toney. Yeah. And he didn't get it. Nobody has gotten it on the first try. Not one person. It's amazing.
You know how I feel about him. I think he's the greatest forgotten, the most forgotten great player in NBA history.
Yeah.
He flashed across the sky like a meteor or a comet, whatever the hell was it. And only the defeat, not one, but both of them went up down on him. He was the most contemptuous scorer I ever saw.
He was ridiculous.
He invited double teams. It wasn't even it was a challenge. It wasn't any fun.
No, when
but
he
you,
get
if you
going,
if you give the scouting report on his offense, okay, 6'3", but good NBA body,
but long.
Yeah, NBA body,
Yeah.
Excellent shooter, create any shot he wants, go to the hoop, don't foul him.
Right.
Don't foul him. 80-some% free throw shooter, and fearless and contemptuous. Oh my God, he was scary.
Andrew Toney, and he didn't say a word, right? He didn't say a word on the court ever.
No.
And he has not said one word since he retired, Bob Bryant. He has not done one interview since he retired. I'm trying to change that, and I call him every year, and I text with him, but he will not bite on an interview because he doesn't care. He's living down in Atlanta, and I don't know what he's doing right now. I feel like he was teaching or something a few years back. But just kind of in anonymity.
I know he was a bright guy. He knew what he was doing.
Hell of a player. Hell of a player.
Yeah, that was
all right. Well,
anyway,
we will. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll have more to talk about. I know we will because, again, hopefully, we won't spend the first 15 minutes about unvaccinated players next week. Hopefully, we'll talk a little bit more.
When in doubt, we can always talk about the Lakers.
We can, and I'm sure we will do that next week.
This year. When in doubt, how about them Lakers? And
how about them Lakers?
I keep staring at that roster, Jeff. Staring at that roster, and I say, what? I know, maybe. What the? Right. I can't wait to see this in action. Yes. I'm serious.
Yes. If they're healthy, you want to see everybody healthy this year because it could be a hell of a playoffs if that's the case. If you get Brooklyn, the Lakers, Milwaukee, there's some really good teams at the top now.
Phoenix,
yeah, Phoenix had such a great year last year. So make sure you join us every single week. Again, Ryan and Goodman podcast coming to you on social media, on Twitter, on our Twitter accounts, on YouTube, on audio, all the platforms as well. And we'll see you next week.